In the shadowed corridors of power, where men vie for dominion over their fates and those of others, reputation stands as the most fragile fortress. It is not built by virtue alone, but by cunning vigilance, for the unwary prince or commoner may find his standing crumbled by habits that appear innocuous, yet strike like hidden daggers. These vices, cloaked in the guise of everyday trifles, erode the respect that is the true currency of influence. I, drawing from the wisdom of the Florentine courts, where alliances shift like sands, shall reveal 8 such perilous habits that sabotage your image, your alliances, and your ascent. Heed this counsel not for moral edification, but for the preservation of your principality in life, be it in the marketplace, the household, or the halls of ambition. For as I have observed, everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. To command respect, you must master the art of seeming unassailable, lest fortune turn against you. Before unveiling these traps, mark well, this discourse endures through the efforts of those who engage with it, your reflections, your endorsements, your disseminations. Such actions fortify our shared endeavor, much as a prince bolsters his state with loyal subjects. In witnessing this assembly of minds sharpen and adapt, I find purpose. Thus, I extend gratitude, not from sentiment, but from recognition of mutual advantage in our pursuit of strategic mastery. Respect, that elusive throne, seldom falls by overt assault. It succumbs to subtle erosions, small acts or negligences that compound into ruin. If any philosophy pierces this veil, it is the pragmatic lens of realpolitik, where virtue serves necessity, not idealism. As I counseled in matters of state, waste no time debating the ideal ruler. Become one who adapts to fortune's wheel. Seneca's echo rings true. Observe thyself with unflinching gaze, for self-deception is the ally of foes. Herein, we dissect 8 habits, seemingly trivial, yet potent enough to dismantle your facade of strength and undermine your self-command. In my own navigations through treacherous alliances, I succumb to each, only reclaiming my footing by embracing the fox's cunning and the lion's resolve. Apply these insights not for inner peace, but for outer dominance, greater sway, calculated equilibria, and clarity in the webs of human intercourse. Prepare, then, for discomfort. It is the forge of the adept. Arm yourself with resolve, for what follows may wound pride but arm strategy. The first peril, gossiping, the venom that poisons courts from within. This vice, commonplace as whispers in shadowed alcoves, masquerades as idle discourse, a bond among conspirators, a diversion from tedium. Yet its truth is stark. He who gossips with you will betray you in turn. Engage in this, even sans malice, and you broadcast frailty. I am no keeper of confidences. I thrive on others' missteps. Recall a season in my youth amid scholarly intrigues, where talk circled the lives of peers like vultures, dissecting liaisons, mocking choices, conjecturing woes. A reserved associate, whom I shall name Sarah for discretion, confided a private affection. Swiftly, it became fodder for jest, spreading like plague. She withdrew, her silence a rebuke that scarred the circle. Thus I learned, gossip is no mere prattle. It scars the speaker most, for observers ponder, if he dissects another so, what of me in his absence? Epictetus, though a slave in form, advised wisely. Shun repetition of the unheard. Ignore what touches not your domain. Gossip belittles you, inviting distrust. To command, elect dialogues that elevate schemes, not souls. Probe ideas, not frailties. As the adage holds, petty minds traffic in persons, middling in occurrences, superior in concepts. Daily, choose your realm, for the prince who guards tongues guards thrones. Counter this by vigilant restraint. Before uttering, query if words forge alliances or merely sow discord. In time, you emerge as the enigmatic counselor, whose discretion binds loyalties. The second snare, unreliability, whereby your word crumbles like ill-kept fortifications. In an era of vows freely given yet sparsely honored, this habit strikes swiftest. Promises abound, to attend, to aid, to reform, yet yield to pretexts and voids. The harsh verity, when your pledge devalues, so do you. I once prized adaptability as cunning, forging pacts only to dissolve them for whim, until an ally's festivity, meticulously orchestrated by one Emily, exposed the folly. I affirmed presence, yet diverted to trifles, dispatching belated excuses. Her cool retort unveiled the breach not of merriment, but of faith. Our bond waned, for she discerned my oaths as chaff. The ancients deemed word, honor a bastion. Seneca proclaimed, naught surpasses the pledge of the upright. Your utterance is your pact. Reliability arises not from grand oaths, but steadfast deeds, punctuality, fulfillment, transparency in bounds. Be candid, commit not what you cannot uphold, forewarned of shifts. Subjects crave not flawlessness, but predictability. In mercantile or martial spheres, unreliability exiles you from vital counsels. Talent avails not sans dependability. Respect springs from trust, trust from reiterated fidelity in minutiae. Amplify this, chronicle vows in ledgers, reviewing fulfillment to cultivate ironclad constancy, turning potential foes into steadfast vassals. The third hazard, interrupting, wherein impatience unmasks the unready ruler. Respect often perishes not in grand betrayals, but petty intrusions, cutting short another's oration. Trivial in seeming, yet it signals, my voice trumps yours. Reiterated, it corrodes esteem. In my nascent forays into debate, zeal overrode prudence. In assemblies, I severed sentences mid, flow dissenting, suggesting, asserting, until a superior with measured firmness rebuked. You arm for speech, yet disarm for hearing. The thunderbolt, for it revealed not engagement, but conceit veiled as vigor. The Stoics exalted audition as sagacity. Epictetus decreed, 2 ears, 1 mouth, heed the ratio. Thence I honed strategic hearkening. At interruptions urge, inhale, ponder. Must this interject now, or bide in humility? This pivot recast my image, from brash to balanced, for attentive silence bespeaks might, not meekness. To garner deference, embrace deliberate quietude, absorb fully, permit conclusion. Thus, you fathom deeper, forge ties, and claim rarity. Regard. Enrich this, rehearse recapitulation. Echo the speaker air replying, solidifying pacts through mirrored respect. The fourth trap, excessive complaining, transforming you into fortune's perpetual quarry. All lament, traffic's snare, superior's folly, sky's wrath. It mimics catharsis, yet habitual, it burdens self and circle. Perpetual grievance repels without overt cause, for none endures the eternal fault. Finder sans remedy. I dwelt in this mire, rain provoked ire, heat disdain, slights endless rumination, until a forthright companion queried, naught suffices thee, haste thou noted. Defense yielded to insight, I played victim, ceding sovereignty. Stoicism commands, rail not at fate, mold the mutable, endure the fixed. Rain heeds no plaint, congestion no sighs, attitude alone alters. Post-revelation, I supplanted wines with deeds or resignation. Flee toxic realms, extract lessons from ills, breathe through insolubles. This lightened my yoke, drawing nearer those once estranged. Discern your ensnarement, discourse thou woes or cures, dialogues uplift or exhaust, gratitude habit or gripe. The intellect scans as train, nurture negation, chaos reigns, foster construct, prospects bloom. Respect flows from your emanation, none reveres the complaint, drowned, henceforth at lament's brink, probe, mind to command, act, nay, accept. Discipline liberates vigor, augment, chronicle nightly gratitudes, redirecting gaze from gripes to gains, reforging your aura as indomitable. The fifth peril, oversharing, the breach that bids exploitation. Beyond rudiments, this vice, unveiling excesses of private woes or passions in unfit arenas, feigns candor yet dilutes enigma, inviting judgment or machination. In fledgling negotiations, I bared familial turmoils or bygone lapses, deeming it kinship. Instead, it recast me from peer to pitiable, stifling prospects. Stoicism urges discretion. Marcus Aurelius bid, tolerate others, strict thyself. Oversharing fractures barriers, branding you needy or erratic. Counter, selective revelation, dispense solely essentials to confidants. Query, doth this enrich discourse or crave acclaim? Thus, you cultivate composure's veil, meriting profounder deference as the veiled tactician. The sixth snare, people, pleasing the yoke of spurious favor. This habit, assenting ceaselessly to evade strife, even at values or hours' expense, roots in rejection's dread, yet heralds frailty, as others scent boundaries lack and pray. I overburdened agendas with every plea, birthing exhaustion and grudge. Denial's advent mended ties, for limits command honor. Epictetus exhorted, embody thy creed, explain not. Pleasing undermines essence, prioritize tenets. Commence modestly, refuse one needless demand weakly, elucidating curtly. This engenders self-reverence, projecting as resolute and admirable. The seventh hazard, emotional outbursts, the unraveling of composure. Permitting impulsive eruptions, rage, vexation, or lament in cruxes. Feels purgative, yet brands you capricious and unregal, shattering reliance. In familial fray, I unleashed wrath, regretting as bonds frayed months hence. Seneca cautioned, unbridled ire wounds us more than the affront. Stoicism preaches restraint. Pause, respire, retort judiciously. Enact a decade decree, tally 10 air eruption. This forges repute for steadfastness, rendering you the bastion others seek, amplifying sway and esteem. The eighth trap, bragging, the veneer of false supremacy. Excessive vaunting of triumphs to awe repels, betraying insecurity. In social arenas, I trumpeted feats to assimilate, spawning envy and estrangement. Marcus Aurelius mused, discuss not goodness, embody it. Vaunting erodes humility, stoicism's bedrock. Pivot to muted assurance, let deeds proclaim, laud others' feats. Frame successes modestly as gleaned wisdoms. This elicits true deference, for understated might outshines ostentation. If thou hast endured thus far acclaim, thou art primed for the arduous, elf scrutiny. We have dissected 8 vices sabotaging thy guise. Gossip erodes trust, unreliability demeans oaths, interruption unveils ego, complaint ensnares in gloom, oversharing courts abuse, pleasing signals debility, outbursts betray instability, bragging spawns rancor. Yet all yield to disciplined cunning, heedful audition, fidelity, deedful resolve, reticence, frontiers, restraint, modesty. As I professed, the best vengeance is dissimilarity from the injurer. Nay, the supreme path to deference is divergence from the her, embodying trust, serenity, presence. Advance one stride daily, one vice vanquished, and fortune shall bow to thy altered mien. Now declare, which of these 8 dost thou mirror most? Inscribe, I elect to merit deference, below, and name the vice thou shalt transmute. This cements lore and fortifies our cotter of schemers. If this treatise aids, endorse it, disseminate to the needy, enlist in our ranks. Here, counsel is no idle theorem, 'tis armament for thy veritable campaigns. Until next recall, thou art sole steward of thy emanation. Project what fortifies, discard the rest.